You know, it's a few things. I noticed this little piece of art here
Yes, excellent.
has inspired a lot of people, and I don't know if it's something that actually occurred. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, on how that was created.
You know, this is really important because this is what occurs every year in Santa's heart. And it's the first gift of Christmas. See, some of you may know and some of you may not know that St. Nicholas, Santa Claus, came to us today as me, as a bishop of Myra. You see, as a bishop of Myra, St. Nicholas was born in the year 270. Right? That makes me over 1,744 years old. Wow. I don't look a day over 1,500, do I?
No, you don't.
Am I looking pretty good? Thank you.
It looks like you're in your 40s.
And
Isaiah!
as legend has told us, and history has told us, that the young man, Nicholas, was orphaned as a child. And he was orphaned from a very wealthy family. And he went to live with his uncle, who was a bishop in the church. And he was very well taken care of. And as he grew older, he had money that he could help people with. And he heard of a man who had been a wealthy man who had lost everything he owned. And he and his 3 daughters lived in a humble home, and they were of marrying age, but they couldn't get married because in that time, a daughter had to have a dowry. Do you know what a dowry is?
Yeah, Uncle Scott was telling us this.
So he's
the
confirming.
news.
No, I don't. You don't know what a
A
dowry
dowry is where the bride would have to have some wealth, some holdings of goods, either animals or money or property, to attract a husband. And that's not how we do it anymore, because the people are more valuable than what you can get in a marriage. A marriage should be about giving, okay? So that's the way it was then. And if they didn't get married, they might have to be a servant in somebody else's house or something like that. And the father wanted the girls to get married. And so Nicholas, young Nicholas, he wasn't St. Nicholas yet, heard about this, and he went at night, and he took a bag of gold. You have a question? That's right.
What he wore
That's
wears
it.
back then.
Yeah. And he took a bag of gold and threw it over the fence. Now, I don't know whether this part is true, because I couldn't tell where where St. Nicholas threw that bag of gold over the fence, okay? But legend tells us that it landed in a stocking at the fireplace. And it was the oldest daughter's stocking. And the next morning when she got up, because they would hang their socks by the fireplace to dry, because they didn't have lots and lots of clothes to lay around the house and leave in piles in their room. And they would wash their socks out and they would dry them at night. When she got up the next morning, she found enough money in the sock to get married. And the father tried to find out who did it. He couldn't find out. He wouldn't tell anybody. And so Nicholas, sometime later, did the same thing for the second daughter. And on the third time, the third daughter, the father hid. And when Nicholas threw the gold over, he caught it in his opportunity to actively think about how we personally, each one of us, can change the world. Okay? Did you know, Zoe, that you can change the world? Did you know that, Isaiah? You can change the world. Okay? It doesn't take the big people to change it. Because when you start changing it, it's when you're your age. It's whatever age we are, that you can do the most good then. See, people, if you listen throughout the year, they're going to say, oh, I love the Christmas season so much. It's so wonderful. If you ask them why, it's, well, people are just kinder to one another. Okay. It's Jesus' gift, okay? And we've segmented our lives in such a way that we put the kindness in December. And that's when we're kind to people. But we don't have to be kind to people in October or June, because we do that at Christmas. So we're supposed to do that all the time. So Santa brings those list of things that people did to one another and gives it back as the first gift of Christmas. Okay? Just like, who knows the story of the Polar Express? The first gift of Christmas, Santa gives the bell, right, off the sleigh. There's some significance about that first gift. Okay? This was God's special first gift to us. And our kind deeds are the first gift back. And that special bell of Christmas was the first gift. All right? So, it's fun to do our games and carols and give presents and all those things, but we need to keep this. Okay? The baby Jesus. Exactly. This is the reason that we're having the holiday at all. Okay? And that's probably the biggest request I could give all of you. If you want to know what I want for Christmas, I would like each of us, myself included, to look for somebody that you can make their day better, and maybe even their life better, by reaching out and sharing the gift of God, okay? The story of Jesus, and maybe something you have. Maybe somebody needs some food, or somebody doesn't have a toy, or somebody's car is broken down. There's so many things that we could give. And that doesn't mean we shouldn't be safe. You know, you wouldn't stop in a terrible neighborhood next to a group of gang members and say if that person needed their tire fixed, but you might go up the road to a phone and call for help for them.
Allie, why don't you tell Santa about what you did? The little girl that didn't believe in God.
One time my mom was going to school and she had a deer and her car broke down.
You tell about when the little girl didn't believe in God.
One time when I was at my Theo's house, one minute, a girl said that she didn't believe in God, so I said, you should always believe in God before you say it.
Because he believes in you, right? That's
But
what
he
you said.
believes in you.
That's right. Good. Excuse me. Santa's talked a lot this year. Do you know a Bible verse that applies to Jesus? Do you know John 3:16? Who knows John 3:16? Anybody? For God so loved the world that he gave his only Son, whoever should believe in him to have everlasting life. And I didn't quote it totally correctly there. Too many versions have been read over the years. So this is the main reason that we celebrate Christmas. And when you do things for other people, you are being Jesus doing it. Okay? Any questions? You were great attentive listeners, right?
I have one question.
Yes.
What happens And you know what happens if nobody, like people tell them you should believe in God and they don't believe in God? Can you pray for them?
Yes. Prayer is a wonderful tool. Okay? God can work miracles in our life, do things that we never expected. Okay? So, about any topic, about anything, prayer is always an excellent answer. Okay?
I know why we celebrate Christmas is because Christmas Day is everybody's birthday because that's why they get presents because it's everybody's birthday and it's God's birthday too. And Jesus's.
Yeah. Okay. Any other thoughts, questions, input on that?
Yes, sweetheart?
My song's called If you have a heart, then you know joy. If you have a heart, then everyone will know. 'Cause you are good inside of you and everyone, and you can show it. You have to believe before you say that you can do it. 'Cause you always have to try before you say that you can do it. You have to believe before you don't say that you can do it. 'Cause you have to always try to do it. You don't say that you can not do it. 'Cause you can always believe on God and Jesus, 'cause they're there for you, no matter what. They have a good heart, so remember everything that you did good. Everything that you did good will always be in your heart, and oh, remember it for the time that you were them. 'Cause you're good enough there, and you have a good heart. You can always believe Him, no matter what. Just believe.
That is great.
Did you just type that up like right there when you were doing it?
Thank you
Good job,
so
sweetheart.
much.
Thank you.
That was awesome, Alex.
That was wonderful.
Loved it.
Well, Santa, I wonder God had to show this nutcracker. Yeah.
I would love to see that. And before I leave, I would like to everybody to see.
I know it.
Oh, great.
So,
Dogs had to push
is
it
Santa
off.
stuck in the chimney?
What?
Is Santa stuck in the chimney?
No.
Okay.
And a reindeer had to get the ropes and tie it to you and pull you up. And then the little mouse had an idea. And cats and dogs had to push you up. And like he had to push it.
I will have to look for
They're
a
kind of
copy
like
of this.
mocking you.
I think they're mocking you.
You have an excellent vocabulary.
Thank you.
Good. All right. We need to talk about this.
Okay.
Could I tell you a story?
Yes.
You want to come hear my story?
They're scared.
Y'all come in here so I can see you.
Come on in, girls.
I won't put you on the spot anymore, okay? Deal? Yeah. Deal? Okay. All right. I want to tell you a story that you often hear at Christmas time. And the story is called A Visit from St. Nicholas. And you know it probably by the first line of the poem, which was "'Twas the night before Christmas." Now, Clement Moore is the author of that poem. And Clement Moore, about 100 years ago, was in the habit of writing a story or a poem or a song or something for his children every year for Christmas. Okay? And he was having a difficult time this particular year finding what story he wanted to write. And it was coming down to time because not only did he write the story for his children, but it was also published in the paper. He was a journalist. All right? Excuse me. My voice is way past being able to tell this story, but I'm going to tell it anyway. All right? And you bear with me. And it was very important, and he was very distressed because he could not come up with the story for his children. And he needed one for the next day. So he went to bed with it on his mind. And what happens when we go to bed with something on our mind?
You can't sleep.
Well, we can't sleep.
You have a
Or
dream.
we dream about it, right? Or we toss and turn and we're kind of in that kind of awake, kind of asleep.
Or you can have a nightmare about it.
Good. You could have a nightmare about it. Or sometimes we wake up in the middle of the night and go, I've got it. Okay? That happens to me in the toy shop. All right? I'll be needing to make a toy and I'll need to make a jig to make my toy and I can't quite think how I want to do that. And I'll be thinking for days and Mrs. Claus will say, what are you thinking about? Well, I need a special jig to hold this piece of wood, but when I run it through here, it reproduces this little part every time. And then some days, some nights I'll get up in the middle of the night and say, I got it! I know how it works! And I'll draw a little picture of how it works, and I'll go back to sleep. Well, for Clement Moore, it kind of happened this way. Right? Because he woke up the next morning and he thought he had a dream about a visit from St. Nicholas. But it wasn't a dream. And I was really there. Would you like to know what actually happened?
Yes.
Do you remember how it starts? I just told you the answer a minute ago.
It was the night before Christmas.
'Twas the night before Christmas. Went all through the house.
Not a creature was stirring, not even
Good.
a mouse.
But I'm going to tell the rest of it, okay? The stockings were hung by the chimney of care in hopes that
St. Nicholas would
soon would be there. Now I'm going to ask you some questions. The children were nestled all snug in their beds, listen, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. Do you know what a sugar plum is?
Like a sugar plum fairy. It's like a little plum.
Yeah. It was a sugar plum. It was the treat candy of the day. While visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And listen and let me tell the story, okay? Mama in her kerchief and Pa in his cap. They had just settled down for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there rose such a clatter, Pa sprang from his bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window he flew like a flash and tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. Do you know what a sash is? That's not a word we use anymore.
Weapon?
Yeah?
A weapon?
No, it's not. It's not a
Like a
word.
curtain.
It's a window. That bottom part of the window is called
Oh,
the
yeah.
sash. Okay? He tore open the shutters and threw up the sash. The moon with its light on the new fallen snow cast the luster of midday to objects below. And what to his wondering eye should appear but a magnificent sleigh and 8 flying reindeer. With a jolly old driver so lively and quick, Paul knew in a moment that it must be
Saint Nicholas.
Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles my coursers they came. I whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Prancer and Vixen, on Comet, on Cupid, on Donder and Glisten. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all. Like dry leaves before a wild hurricane fly, when they meet with an obstacle and mount up to the sky. So up to the housetops my coursers they flew, with a sleigh full of toys And yours truly, too. Then in a twinkling, Paul heard on the roof a prancing and pawing of each reindeer's hoof. As he drew in his head and was turning around, down that chimney I came, bump, with a bound. I was dressed all in fur from my head to my foot, and my clothes were all tarnished with ashes and soot. With a bundle of toys I had flung on my back, I looked like a peddler just opening his pack. My eyes, how they twinkle, my dimples, how merry, my cheeks were like roses, my nose like a cherry. My mouth and mustache were all turned up like a bow, and the beard of my chin was as white as the
Snow!
A stick of peppermint I held tight in my teeth. It had been a decoration that I had plucked from a wreath. I have a broad face and a little round belly that shakes when I laugh like a bowl full of jelly. I am chubby and plump, a right jolly old elf. And Paul laughed when he saw me, in spite of himself. But with a wink of my eye and a turn of my head, I soon let Paul know there was nothing to dread. I said not a word, but went straight to my work, and I filled all the stockings. Then I turned with a jerk, and laying my finger aside my nose, with a nod of my head, up the chimney I rose. I sprang to my sleigh, to my team gave a whistle, and away we all flew like the down of a thistle. But I made sure to exclaim, before I drove out of sight, Happy Christmas to all. And to all.
Good night.
That's how it really happened.
Yeah, our teacher read us that story.
You're a very smart teacher.
It was the
Very classy story, and you notice the main character was quite handsome. A little on the chubby side, but he is okay.
We like to.
Okay. Is there anything else I can do for you? Because other children wait.
This has been so magical.
Thank you very much, Santa.
Okay,
so
Santa,
much.
before
I was just informed that
we'll show you the
apparently
next
it's a secret, but your reindeer and your sleigh are waiting at the DFW airport
Thank
at
you.
a special undisclosed location.
You see, I can't fly my reindeer during the day.
Oh yeah.
You know why?
Could attract too much attention.
That's exactly right. But you know what kind of attention it attracts?
The news reporters.
Well, that could be true, but it's more important and scarier than that. Did you know that we have a part of our military called the Strategic Air Command? The Strategic Air Command is what keeps our airways safe. If there's anything going on in the United States that's not safe, they pick up the phone and they call the Strategic Air Command and they scramble the jets. And jets take off all over the United States. Matter of fact, did you know that there are jets flying in the sky right now? There are jets flying in the sky right now, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. It's not a lot of them, but they're fighter jets. And there's a reconnaissance radar planes that fly in the United States borders in the sky over 24 hours a day. So there are always fighter jets and a radar plane flying in the sky all the time. So what happens is, I'm just happily trying to go get some stuff from the store. And shoo, 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 the fighter jets fly by. And I'm thinking, what is that? And they come back around and they buzz around again. And the next thing you know, I can hear on my special F radio them calling me in and saying, "This is Major Jeffers, headquarters. Go ahead, Major Jeffers. It's just Santa." Okay, thank you, sir. And they called the mission off. So I had to agree I wouldn't fly the reindeer during the day. Okay? But I can take them home tonight.
Cool.
And all I got to do is get back to the airport.
All right.
Thank you.
Not far.
Yes.
Do you ever feel like you're gonna puke whenever you're in the air?
Well, that's an excellent question. And the answer is if I eat too many cookies. happens to do. Yes, dear.
What does Mrs. Santa Claus look like?
She is a gorgeous woman. She is wonderful. She doesn't look a day over 1,400 years old.
Oh, 40!
She's just adorable.
I bet.
She is the most easygoing, encouraging. Can you imagine living with Santa Claus? I mean, you never know what I'm going to do. Talk about messy spots. You never know what I may have going. You know, because I'll be doing something and work along, and all of a sudden I'll say, oh, wait a minute, I've got this idea. And I'll leave this shop, and I'll run over that shop, and I'll start doing this or doing that. And Mrs. Claus will come along and say, what are you doing, Santa? Come on back. We need to get those toys out in the other room. Okay, she's very patient and very encouraging. She's kind and gentle, and she's supportive. Okay. And she's really cute. She can make some excellent cookies.
What about gingerbread?
I love gingerbread.
Me too.
I can see Mrs. Claus right through your eyes.
You get the biggest hug of the whole night. I
By the way,
love
we
you.
have a Mrs. Claus doll in here.
That is the nicest
do?
thing anybody in the whole world has ever said to me. Thank you so much. Now I am going to cry.
No way.
No, that was perfect. Those are good cries. Remember, there's good cries. And
Oh, yeah. There's a drawer.
I need to go.
He's gonna be late.
That's right. People are counting on me. People are counting on me to be.
That's what happens to me. I'm getting kind of tired.
When you talk as much as I do, it happens.
Yeah, I do too.
Uncle Scott should get them ready.
All right.
Elf Security is just informing Santa that the roads are clear,
We're good.
and security is ready to proceed to escort you to the airport.
Yeah, I like that cookie while you're going to the other house.
Would you like a glass of water, Santa, or soda, or anything like that?
I have a bottle of water.
Okay, great.
I'm going to put on my coat and read it now. Remember, we have some agreements, okay? There are things that we decided that we would work on together, right? Remember? Remember how special you are? You all remember how special you are? Don't let anybody ever tell you that you're not, okay? You keep up the good work.